Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, so I'm just gonna unplug that from there for now because we're gonna have a little bit of a shootout. Kind of not really, because they're a little bit different in price, but we've got the Shouer acoustics. I didn't mean to do that, you son of a bitch. This brand, wait, there's a bigger letters somewhere? I can't ever say it. Anyway, this is the EJ07m, the mass production version of their in-ear monitors. And these are like $700, and that's not cheap. But on the other side of the ring, we've got the Monarch Mark IIs, which are ThieAudio. Both sent by Linsol, so this is a fight from the same retailer. And we're gonna go over them because this is the one everyone's asking about. And this one I actually have two of. So one will be in the yard sale for sure. And after this little playing, I'm just playing, I'm having a little fun. I'm topping amp, the LA90 and the Champ and the Sabage. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna try it on the fucking Wildevin Topaz. And then I'm gonna, okay. How do I start? I'm gonna start, I guess, just talking about the EJ07Ms. That's a very name. With they're probably, of all like the backs, I'm gonna look real quick at this, at the ThieAudio. Like, oh my God, they filled it with colorful sand. Like, it's nice. Like, it looks nice. Like, I'm not gonna say it doesn't look nice, but this is like a matte acrylic of like carbon. I think, in fact, I think this is the one that changes color in this, in like ultraviolet. Wait, hold on. Artistic faceplate, yeah. Style of a gold flake, carbon flakes, but these two abstract Picasso also elevates the general tone of the hi-fi in-ear monitor. No, this isn't. I thought this was the one that changed with the UV light. There are two types. There's that type, and then there's this type. I have the carbon one. I don't know if you can even, yeah, you could choose black or silver. The black one comes with what looks like just, it's so nice inside. And it's understated as hell. It just plays with the light just enough to look like something from an architectural dig. Versus that, or you can get it in some sort of wild, like, ooh, swirls of color, but nice. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't $700, $669, bro. So you could also get it with either a 3.5 or a 4.4 millimeter cable. This pair, unfortunately, only has a 3.5 millimeter cable, and I'm not going to swap it. So I will be using an adapter to plug it in. We'll go over the accessories of both right now before we get to the what the fuck did I just hear with that, because I've used this in the past because I was like, oh my God, I love ThieAudio, but this is sort of like new for today. And accessories, they both come in relatively large boxes for IMs. That doesn't fucking matter. They both come with an array of tips. Here are the tips for the Shouers. What do we got here? 6, 12, plus another 6 foams. You got a little ear cleaning brush, a little thing that says number 3, checked your shit and said it was good. Some bullshit here about music sparks and flies between notes, melody, and soul, except impulsing emotion, purified, genuine melody, desires, emotion, impulse, sure. I summarized. Anyway. That's that. It comes, ignore this, that's DD Hi-Fi. Look at, that's a 1/4 inch to 4.4 Pentacon from DD Hi-Fi. That's like $35. Like, that's just gorgeous. Put that there. Look at the case that the Shouers come with. A fucking metal sarcophagus that is rubber lined. It's not just metal, this is rubber. Like rubber, like sticky rubber. And it's the nicest fit I've ever seen in one of these. And it just, put the uranium-238 explosive space modulator in there. ThieAudio, we're going backwards now, comes with the largest fucking case I've ever seen for an IM, besides those big plastic ones. Like, it's a soft case, like you could sort of squeeze it, but it's the size of, like, you could fit a portable player in here. I have several DAPs that would fit in here with the IEMs. Every wire adapter, we'll get to the wires on both separately. But yeah, that thing's, it's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Don't even, yeah, no, stop. That's too big. That's the case. What did I talk about? Tips? Where's my tips? Give me the tip, bro. Just a tip, bro. Open. The tips are very few, actually, for this. Some foams. There's 4 foams. I don't have the original. Actually, wait. These are the OG foams. I haven't put Taconis on here. I put Taconis on here. These are the OG foams because they actually are nice. Very rare that I like a foam tip, but I guess people are listening. So you got a little cleaning cloth. You got 6 foam tips. Very, very violent size changes. Like the small is so fucking small. So I think I have, what, a medium and a large on here, and I did get away with it. Nothing else really, except for the wires. Let's talk about the wires for a second. You want to get to the other like important stuff like sound. Use timestamps. The wire on the Shouer is quite pedestrian. Pedestrian is the word. It just looks like a KZ wire. It's got a clear end, although it's much nicer like finishing work on it. This actually is competent to touch. It's got a little strain relief, and it's got 2 wires. Copper just spins and spins and spins to a little aluminum split, which then has a little clear bit that slides up, or you can lock it in place down there. Like this. Look, it fits. Boom. And then it comes up, and it's a 2-pin, and here's your IMs. And they're metal, but they're not like, oh my god, they're so heavy, or they're not, oh my god, I hit my face, they're so light. They're nice. This is a nice wire. This is like someone had a science experiment, and they wanted to show off to their parents. Someone's like, Mom, I got a job at ThieAudio. I make the wires. I'll make you a good one, Ma. So you've got an interchangeable head system that is carbon fiber and chrome for all of them, including the 2.5 millimeter, which looks fucking ridiculous when you plug it into anything. So like the 4.4 makes sense. The 3.5, I'll give it a chance, but the 2.5 is like, no. So I'll put down the 3.5. I'm using the 4.4. The end is also chrome, and it only keys one way, and you just go like that, and it's in. And this is fabric. Thick fabric. Like headphone level thick fabric, and I'm just like, why? It's not heavy. It's a little bit stiff. Like if I put it down, you can see it doesn't want to like fall when fabric is just like I shouldn't have to push it down. So I was using it on this desk. It's not a problem. I use this not on a desk, like where you'd use IMs walking around and doing things, and it's kind of a stiff motherfucker, and it's a little annoying. You got this huge ring that slides up and down for when it goes from 4 through carbon fiber again into 2, and then these are just like, because this is like, it's fabric, so you feel it on like your neck. It's very strange. And it goes with the IMs, which are exceptionally light, lighter than those. They're plastic. There's no metal involved, and that's fine because they all do their own thing. The architectures of both. Let me get to the architectures of both because I want to get this specific. So the EJ is a 10 millimeter carbon nanodynamic driver plus a Sonion 4-in-1 electrostatic driver plus a Sonion 2389 times 2 balanced armature drivers. So a dynamic, 2 BAs, and electrostat, so 4. It's 19 ohms, which is why you're weird to power. And then, well, see, that doesn't make any sense, because I'll get to it. And then stainless steel, sus, nice, blah, 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 blah. Now, the Monarch here, one of the reasons I picked these two to go together, the product detail on this is a 10 millimeter dynamic driver, a single Sonion Knoll/balance armature driver, and a single Sonion electrostatic driver. Sound familiar? Yes, it does. Although this only says 1 balanced armatures driver. So this is a DD21. This is a DD11. And apparently got the smart switch plug. It's 36 ohms, which seems a little more normal, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, waifu. So I'm gonna turn off the camera now because I'm pretty sure the battery's dying from the last review I did, and I have to charge it. And I'm going to break these down, not with like a blender, but with what the fuck they can accomplish, because it can be a lot or it can be consistently a lot. Take your pick. All right, we are back, and now with the EJ07s. And I was on the Patronage chat while I was gone, and I'm like, oh, you have the EJ07s? What about the EJ07 non-M? And apparently this mass production version is different sounding than the EJ07, where those were like wild. And I'm like, let me see if the other set I have is that, and it's not. But I can tell you this much. These IEMs are probably the widest spread of sound I've heard. Not width, not soundstage. Varying amplification sections go. That's why I started on the X2O, on the tube amp, on a full tube amp. Because I was initially doing my listening on the CH amp here, which is rather linear. And it's very good at being linear. Then I went over and I'm like, all right, let me just chuck it in the 11 Topaz, which is usually my go-to for IMs. It's a little softer, a little warmer. It's really got this luxurious sound. Yeah, I know what that sounds like, but trust me on this. You plug this in the air, and I was like, holy fuck, what? Oh, so linear amp to that. Wait, maybe I'm hallucinating. So I threw the Savage A10D in out of just a 1/4 inch in that. And I'm like, all right, that sounds a little bit more dull. And like, it's a $300 combo, and it's an $1,100, $1,300 combo. And this thing is $800. So I'm like, all right, it sounds like a cheap amp. And then I swapped it over finally all the way the hell, I'll lower that, all the hell over here. And I've never heard an IM, I was gonna say headphone, an IM take to a tube so well. Every product that I give like a reco to, like a thumbs up, needs to do something. I don't care if it's only soundstage or just clarity or the nicest fucking comfort. You gotta do something. And this IM, these literally melt into whatever amplifier you plug them into. So I don't know if that should give them a recommendation completely or not, because depending on what you're listening to, they could sound very good. They don't sound bad out of the champ. They just melt. They literally turned into like this completely different IM in this amp. And then like okay, but, and then, so it's like, how do I even judge it now? Because unless I was going to turn on the whole stack over here, and then I realized I couldn't do that. And I can't adapt it for this, which would just be insanely linear, but with infinite power. Yeah, these IMs, are like blank slates. Get it? Get it? Because the back looks like slate. They're like blank slates. I want to hold them and show them to you, but then you just see my earwax and everything. So I'm going to put them back in my ears. I'm going to plug them into probably the Wah 11. I think we're going to be done with that. Because I left it on once for like 36 hours because I couldn't tell it was on. Because how often do you check your tube amps? Zeos? I should have them all on Casa switches at 3 a.m. Cut the power to all the tube amps, which is very possible. I do that all the time for everywhere else. But, oh my God. Okay, so, ignoring the Monarch for now. I know what that sounds like. We'll get to this Monarch. I want to forget that for like 20 minutes. X-Men First Class, X-Men soundtrack. These have an energy to them. And I'm starting to feel with Shouer, because, the S12 review is coming, but also the Z12 review, which is my rendition of the S12. It's a whole thing. I probably announced it already by the time this video comes out. But my tuning on it, like, makes them just like you just did a bump of Coke. Between tracks, every track, it's like that. And I'm feeling like with these, it can go from very, very linear and standard and like, this is quality. It's a quality listening experience. I'm enjoying this. Sitting in a public library, we're having a good time. To like just... What is this? Sam and Dave, When Something Is Wrong from Baby Driver. It's like a beautiful ballad with the hissing in the background. It's vintage. They're so warm and coddling and clear, and the horn is coming from the left. Yeah, they go from very, very like polite to just fucking relaxing and warm. And then the tube, just all the soundstage. All the soundstage, just stretch out the low end. These are completely different headphones, or IMs. I would personally listen to them probably on the Wah 11 all the time. That if I'm chill as fuck. This if I'm analyzing music, and this never, because it's As much as I love the Sabage, and I gave it the anime waifu sticker. As far as these IMs, in particular these, oh my god, they're low end. Are we on low gain with this? We are on low gain. That 19 ohms, man, just, we're not even up past that, and it's vibrating in my head with the low end. From Dragon Ball Z's Pterodactyl Attack. Audiophile classic. Doors, Gloria. It's got good soundstage, too. Things happening behind me, things are happening to the side of me. With the Doors, it's never, like, right in front of you. The Doors are always somewhere else. I'm turning them up because they're quiet. I can get the half gain. Look at that. These kind of remind me of the Moondrop variations. Only ironically, these vary more per amp. Those are pretty consistent on things. Wow, I'm taking up real loud. It's a quiet. Ooh. All right. You know, these are fucking amazing. These are, with the right amp, they're a top tier IM. Like they're only $669. They should be $1,000. Don't want them to be $1,000. Let everything be cheaper. I'm just saying. I'm not moderately impressed. I'm wholly impressed. And now I'm gonna do the exact same thing. I'm gonna start the Monarchs with that, and then bounce around. I did the tubes on them. It wasn't that. Didn't do enough, but we'll see. Let me see. Hold on. So, starting out on the amp, and it's already fucking like, this is what people want from a ThieAudio product. I have the Clairvoyance over there. I haven't used them in a while because obviously I have like a million IMs and I don't get to use them. I could every day. I could wake up and say I'm going to try a different IM today, and I don't. But the Clairvoyance are one of those IMs that I know that I'm never going to sell. But now there's Monarch Mark II. I didn't actually do the Monarch Mark Is. And really quick, I just shuffle the tracks. This is every track I ever have. I don't have like a specific 5 tracks to listen to determine things. I just shuffle. Look at as a shuffle. And the Simpsons theme came on in FLAC. Because I have that. And that song, I've never realized how good it is for imaging and sound placement. Like there's just sounds happening, and with these IMs, with the Monarch Mark IIs, I can hear where everything is. You know what it reminds me of? And I sold these a long time ago. The 64 Audio U12Ts. Remember the U12Ts? 12 balanced armatures, like 12 plus 2, so many balanced armatures in each side. And then I basically described those, because I remember this vividly, that the higher the quality of the music, the more of those 12 balanced armatures you could hear individually. Till like low quality music's like 4, then it was like higher 6, 8, 10, and then until you got all 12 lit up. And that's what I described the $2,000 U12Ts. These are $1,000, diamond in the title. Zeos, don't forget the gemstone emoji. He always forgets. What an asshole. These are $1,000 pair. So what do they do for $1,000, Zeos? Why should I spend the money on that when I could buy a monitor like that for $1,000 and put a waifu on it? That's a good question, because that's a great analysis. You could have either IMs, waifu monitor. So I have to be pretty These literally puts the sound of the Simpsons theme. It sounded like there was like a pipe organ, and every sound came from a specific location in my ear. Now, I've talked a lot in the previous IMs, and by that I mean the entirety of my channel, on cohesive sound, where I usually like a single dynamic, because all the sounds come from one spot and it's all good because that's it. When you start adding a balanced armature and then 2 balanced armatures and then electros, it starts breaking apart the sound and it separates. But this is different from that, because at no point do I hear sound coming from different spots and it sounds unnatural. Like the frequency and timbre of everything is perfect. But I hear it everywhere. What came on next? Great Gatsby, Heart's a Mess. I wish you could hear this music right now, because it's just happening. What the fuck was that? Like that was like a brrr, like one of those, like, I don't even know if it's a drum, but it's like someone rattling in a bottle, and it moved. It moved away from the microphone or from my head or something. I don't usually listen to music and like hear it move around. Usually it's like I listen to music and I enjoy it. And then certain headphones, speakers, and IEMs do that placement of sound shit. And these are one of those. These might be the best one of those. Where I'm not just listening to music and like, oh, how is the frequency? You can't imagine these. If you've never heard a $1,000 set of IEMs that is quite like this, this is not a single plane of sound. This is like a little 5-piece orchestra is sitting in each ear, and they're all at different distances and heights, and they're just playing, and somehow they can play every song that's ever existed. They're really good when you give them requests. You're like, hey, could you play the Durara soundtrack? And then there's one guy in the middle of my head, because that's perfectly centered. And now they're like back and behind, but there's a width. We're in like a different room. Where's my Mizhouse? That guy with the tambourine is just bashing against the back of my head from the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. You know, this is a space IEM. Not like it belongs in space, but a... Hurry up. Last call for Flost in Paradise. The bonus track, Aknathut. I have very eclectic taste in music, but you know what? I know every song by fucking heart, so when I shuffle through it and I stop because I've heard something that I haven't heard previous, that means it's real. I could hear the like the electrostatic, like there's like a ch in this song, and it just sounds like an electrostatic's making it. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. It's like, yeah, they have a tweeter in here, a very specific tweeter for very specific frequencies, and you're it. And I'm just gonna go ch 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 ch. The bass is all encompassing. Both of these, I should say that this, I don't even think I touched on it. The low end in these and the low end in these are roughly the same. Both 10mm and both completely balanced with the sound. Changes shape a bit more on this when you go between amps, but this, there's like a boom, 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 boom. And I feel it in my chest, even though it's physically impossible. They're so clear. Where the hell's my... Where's our camera exit? I want to shove these in the camera so you... Can you hear? Is that what a crazy person does? Is he shoves the IEMs onto the GoPro on his head, yelling in an empty house? Oh, fuck. I should go to a psychiatrist. This is from Evangelion. It's just like... And it's like, Jesus God, they're all inside me. These might be too exciting for me. That's a weird statement to make. But like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, what's my heart rate? What's my heart rate at? 94, holy shit. And I'm just like, yeah, fucking yeah. About everything. Everything that plays is Oh, I didn't even change amps. I mean, I did when we weren't watching, but I mean, I'm describing that on what is definably the most linear amp. So if we throw it onto, you know, the Wah 11, and now I got to do all this whole shit where I put it back. The wire is moderately annoying. It's just, of all the expensive wires, like, I don't think you need to make them out of fabric and this big. I would go with something thinner and lighter. It's going to be fine. You're going to spend $1,000 on it. You don't have to spend another $200 or $50 on it. But just know. Oh, yeah. Just a little bit warmer. So this IEM does what I expect an IEM to do when you go from a very, very linear amp to a very warm amp to a tube or something. There's a moderate change. Like, ooh, a little, like rub some extra butter on there instead of just no butter. Those were like, ooh, moderate change. Rub some butter on there. Oh, fuck, are we on Mars? Like, that's a completely different. We warped to another fucking time period. It's now 1860, and I'm out building the railroad with my fucking IEMs. I'm like, what the fuck? That's what those did. These, gentle slope. Just... Again, I love this for IEMs. If everyone wanted to know what my IM amp is, it's a 11 Topaz, which is a USB powered motherfucker that sits over here with a battery. Oh my God. All right. So one of my favorite songs, which I don't play nearly enough, just came on. It's Uncle's In a State, Uncle with a K, from Never Never Land. And it's just... my mind. I worry this might be the best this song has ever sounded, and you know what? I'm going to stop the camera. I'm going to listen to this whole song, and then I'll come back. Let me see. All right, so during that listening session, I somehow managed to get myself from here to there, and then I realized, input 2 has slightly mismatched channel balances, and then switched to input 3, and then fixed it, because sensitivity. And then I went back to this, another point in there, and went, God, that sounds so warm and kind of dull now. So now I'm back to the goddamn LA90 to power an I fucking M. And I also realized another terrifying thing. The recording quality on one of my favorite songs is not that great. It gets very crowded and stuff, and they're mixed because it's not these IMs. Because everything else on these sounds fucking amazing. Yeah, I could hear recording qualities. Ooh, Chemical Brothers, Left Field. It's like, why does it sound mono? It sounds almost mono. It's very narrow. Uh-oh. It's doing bad things. Oh, Daft Punk's on now. Now it's doing great things. All right, yeah, no, these are absolutely $1,000 IM. And if you were going to impress somebody, this would be the one to do it. Give life back to music. Quality song. God, the little bells and shit. What is that even an instrument, or does somebody just take a wind chime and just shake it around? I have to take these out of my head. I'll just keep talking about them forever and ever and ever. Gotta make these shorter. The algorithm doesn't like long. All right, so do I recommend the EJ07s? Yes, absolutely. Just know that depending on what amplifier you have, they could be great or fucking great or holy shit tubes. So yeah, no, these have, and I just noticed with these, now that I'm actually comparing the two, because I've done those, they both have similar low end and what I'm going to call mad energy. Just mad energy. The energy inside of them is maddening, to the point where if I had to listen for like 10 hours straight, I don't think I'd want either of these, because I would just be so amped up by the fucking end of the session that I wouldn't be able to sleep. The Clairvoyants are a little bit more laid back. That's what I like about them. They're just laid back. Laid back, baby. Laid back. I like laid back. I like a little bass boost, and then you just lower the volume and it's laid back. And these are not laid back. You play these and you just keep wanting to change amps and turning it up, and a different song and turn it up, and oh my God. It's like you've done audio cocaine. Acoustical cocaine. Is that a trademark yet? It will be. So yeah, absolutely recommend the EJ07s. The only time you don't get the EJ07s is if you don't have a tube amp and you don't have a warm amp, or you have the budget to get the Monarch 2s, because it's basically, I wouldn't say an upgrade to these. These things are fucking amazing on specific amps. These are amazing on everything, and I just happen to jump around and be like, okay, that and that. And the only concerns I have are the wire, which is a little weird. It's a little, it never isn't that. Like, just lay down. Like, even this is just, it's calm. It's calmed down. It just lays there. This is like, someone's fucking with my chi. Like, oh, there's a twist in it. Oh, there's two twists in it. I gotta pick it up and I gotta like, okay, and then just let it drape off. You know, the Monarchs do what ThieAudio does times $1,000. And I could think of, I'm gonna have to whip out the Nanas, one of my favorite IMs, and the Moondrop Illuminations, both $900, by the way, so a little bit cheaper than these, are way more relaxed than these are. These, I would almost say if LCD 3s and 4s and 5s had this sort of energy, because it's just pounding you with like, hey, detail, hey, feel this, hey, look where I am. I would love those headphones. They'd be fucking on my list. Those things go too far. These are just enough that I can enjoy every track. until I realize the recording quality is not quite where I wanted it to be, and then I hit next track. So that is the detriment of coming to this level of audio. If you've never been to $1,000 IMs, and I consistently say IMs can do better than headphones and speakers, there's less for them to deal with. There's no room, or there's no ear shape. It's just as far into the fucking ear canals as they can go, and you don't bother them. This will show you good and bad things in your music. You might hate yourself afterwards. Be like, wow, Metallica's Black Album sucks. Actually, the Japanese release is pretty good. But yeah, no, so thank you to Linstall for throwing these out there. I know I have 2 sets of these, and I know I have 1 set of these, and I know it's 2022, and I made a promise that I would put most of the things I review in the yard sale. Most. We'll see if 1 or both of these ends up there. If you're a supporter of mine on Patreon or Subscribestar, for $5 a month, you get to see these reviews early to make those decisions slightly ahead of everyone else. You get to participate in yard sales, which from the 1st to the 10th of every month, and this month, being July, starts August 1st or 2nd, will be a huge yard sale with the most items I've ever put in a yard sale. And you get to bid on those, and if you live anywhere in the world, free shipping continental United States and Canada, because UPS is relatively cheap. Half shipping international. So if you live in Singapore and it's $200 to ship something, it's only $100 to ship something, I'll pay the other $100. And whatever you bid is what you bid. It starts at 0, it's blind and silent. Bid what you want to bid. You can bid it up if you want, but you're never going to know if you lost. You'll only know if you won. And for $10 a month, you also, by the way, for $5 get to hear loss of sound demos, which this has nothing to do with it. For $10 a month, you get into the behind-the-scenes private Telegram chat where you could ask me questions directly, ask my advice directly, ask the other people who are patrons there directly, because it's a one big Telegram chat. Telegram's a great program. I'm a Telegram premium user because now I get to upload 4 gig files. I can't wait to review that on my, that's getting reviewed on my second channel. If you don't know, I have a second channel, like on YouTube. It's where the sound demos go, but now it's like my second channel because I can do whatever the fuck I want there, so check that out. Yeah, the Telegram chat for $10 a month patrons, and there's also a swap meet channel associated with that you're in for life. So once you're a $10 patron, you can buy, sell, and trade gear in the Swap Meet channel forever. Wallpaper, available in the Roselio Sync Horde. Every wallpaper I've ever used, if you want to download that. Or just this one, you can use the code, copy, paste it. Links to everything I've used here on the desk from the Sabaj A10D. I don't know if I can link the Champ's page, but you can't buy it yet. And then the Topping LA90 is glorious, and the Singzer SU6 audio bridge Zeos, I guess link that too. Yeah, we're good. Oh, and the mouse pad is provided by mousepads.com, which doesn't pay me, but it's a nice fucking free mouse pad. So yeah, I'm done, you're done, we're done. I'll see you all in the second channel on the Hi-Fi Guides forums, or sometimes in the future. Good day.